Good afternoon, Phillies fans, and welcome back to the Fighting's Final here on the edge of on the It's Rap Sports Network. Your boy Matty B on the call. Stuck in a time warp. Phillies take out the brooms today, 3-1 winners over the Rockies, sweeping out Colorado. And for those of you that are keeping track at home, which I am, this was exactly the first team the Phillies swept last season in the same place, Citizen Bank Park, and about around middle of April. So Lightning strikes twice in terms of the first season sweep or series sweep of the season. This time, with the Rockies the last 2 years. Phillies, stories of the day. We got to go with Taijuan Walker coming out of absolutely nowhere, pitching 6 beautiful scoreless innings of work for the Phillies. Only give up 3 hits, struck out 4, walked 1, 74 pitches through 6 innings. I can actually accept that. That was pretty damn good for Taijuan Walker. Okay, I'm going to get a lot of the naysayers out there, and I'm one of them, saying, well, it was the Colorado Rockies. I will give you that. But any positivity from Taijuan Walker, any positivity in terms of surviving this game without having to really, I mean, they had to go into the bullpen, and we'll get to the bullpen momentarily, but without having to really tax the bullpen, it was critical, in my opinion, today, because of the fact that the Dodgers are rolling in with their 8-0 asses, or 9-0, wherever they are right now, something in 0 starting tomorrow. So having a freshish bullpen for that series was pretty key for me. And Taijuan Walker did his part and pitched really well, specifically for Taijuan Walker. I mean, not only did he get through the first rotation of the lineup, he got through the second rotation of the lineup, and then he got through it again the third time. I mean, defying all the odds out there today. Taijuan Walker with the gem. He does get the win, by the way, on the afternoon. Offensively for the Phillies, 2 players are one player I like to talk about specifically, JT Realmuto coming out 3 for 3 today with a run scored. Got that late that third run at the end of the game there, was it 9th inning, where he scored on the wild pitch. Looking pretty good. Now, Edmundo Sosa was not in the lineup today, befuddling me, because you never take out the hot bat. But I guess with Rob Thompson and his no-roll bullpen and Carousel at the leadoff spot, why should I not be surprised that we took Edmundo Sosa out of the lineup when he's swinging such a hot stick? But instead, Bryson Stott comes in and gets 2 hits himself and a walk. So I guess all ends well offensively for this team. Now let's talk the bullpen, because we almost had our first bullpen with no rolls blowing up in our face, as Alvarado, who has looked dominant through the first 7-8 weeks of the season, to include the spring, just didn't have it today, and was in danger of giving up a 3-run lead in the 9th inning. And the only player that the Phillies decided to get up in his stay, like the warm up, was Joe Ross. What are we doing with Joe Ross trying to come in the 9th inning? Joe Ross is a spot starter. Joe Ross is a long reliever at best. And that was the best option you had coming behind Alvarado. Now, Kerkering pitched earlier in the game. Romano pitched earlier in the game. Once again, the bullpen with no rolls almost came up to rear its ugly head, and it will at some point this season, probably multiple times. But to Jose Alvarado's credit, what was it, about a 40-pitch 9th inning? The guy was up there forever, struck out the side, and escaped with the 3-1 win, thus sweeping out the Colorado Rockies and getting us ready for the Dodgers, man. That I know it's April, and I know it's like the 3rd of April, but does this have playoff vibes? I'm not going to say that, but definitely a key series coming up over the weekend against Colorado. So welcome back to the Fighting's Final on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Joe Howell says, great win. Joe, it was, for all those reasons and more, which we'll get into later. Walker pitched a gem. I mean, there's no other way of saying that. There's no other way to sugarcoat that. He pitched great. Now, yeah, I mean, the Rockies, right? But as I said, anything that you got out of Walker today was positive. Anything that helped you preserve a bullpen that is probably going to get worked out pretty good this weekend, and you preserve that bullpen a little bit today. You didn't have to go completely deep or empty out your bullpen, which in Taijuan Walker starts is kind of the MO. It's got to be a positive thing, and not to mention that he pitched 6 lockdown scoreless innings and struck out a few along the way. So huge day for Taijuan Walker, earning himself obviously the next start that he'll get in 5 or 6 days from now. Michael Papernak's is really good win. Absolutely, Michael. I have to eat crow on Taijuan Walker's pitching. You do, and we all do. I mean, no one's. I was right along with everybody else. I thought we were looking at Joe Ross in the second or third inning, and then from there it was be a steady diet of Phillies bullpen pitchers, and hopefully, they could hang on. Or because now they decided at the beginning of the day to sit Sosa, I'm thinking this is one of them scheduled losses. Now, what had me not convinced completely that it was a scheduled loss was that they played Realmuto night after day or day after night. So, and again, when you're coming off of a day off, but Rob's done this before. They've had a day off, played a night game, and then sat Realmuto the next day for a day game. He's done that before, but he didn't. And to me, that kind of had me all excited that maybe we are actually going to try to win this game. I still don't like Kirkley in the sixth. Mike, I just went on a rant that we almost saw the first example of bullpen with no roles coming back to bite this team on the ass. And not because Alvarado struggled in the ninth. That's not what I'm concerned about. That's not. What I was concerned about was they had Joe Ross up warming up to potentially go to if Alvarado did flounder. That is not the guy you should be pulling in the ninth inning. All right, I'm sorry. You need to have better options there. Now, Strom could have probably been an option. I don't know why he wasn't warming up to come in that situation. But no, you can't have that. And again, when that's the best option, can we not get a bullpen? What's wrong? Why can't we not have a traditional bullpen? I really don't know. I don't want to see Romano in the ninth. I do not want to see Romano in the ninth closing. But he's a closer, and he has experience doing that. Kerkering should be a closer. I would have been okay with Romano coming in the ninth inning. I would have been okay with Kerkering coming in the ninth inning behind Alvarado if he failed, right? And honestly, if he gives up another run in that situation in the ninth, they make it 3-2 with bases still loaded, you're going to have to get him out of there because he was already up to like 40 pitches. But the best option there was Joe Ross. I mean, why would you even do that to yourselves? Why would you do that to the Phillies team? Why would you do that to the fans? Makes no sense, man. I want to see Kerkering in the ninth closing. Yeah, I want to see somebody the closer. At this point, I think the Phillies have three people that can do it. I think they have Kerkering, Alvarado, and Romano can be closers. I just want someone to be the damn closer and stop this nonsense, man. You're right, though. Kerkering has no business pitching in the sixth inning. That's got Matt Strom written all over it. That's got Tanner Banks written all over it. Why the hell are we going with Kerkering in the sixth inning? It makes no sense to me. Should have been a 3-1 bomb for Schwarber if it wasn't for Marsh's hard. Oh, yeah, man. We'll get into the Marsh being, well, it goes down in any kind of pickle or rundown situation. It goes down as a attempted steal or caught stealing. But, yeah, that was, man, commit, dude. Just go. To hell with it. Go. You have better chances of just going instead of the pickle thing back and forth, especially if you're not trying to advance runners. So there's a runner on third, and he maybe he's trying to get him a score. I can see that. But in that situation, man, just commit and go all the way to second base. I agree, though, Steve. I absolutely agree. But the Phillies come out of this thing with a win. They sweep out the Rockies, their first series sweep of the season. Again, for those of you keeping home, Phillies had 10 series sweeps last season. Now we got the first one. And our first one last year also came at the hands of the Colorado Rockies at CBP. So lightning striking twice here for the Phillies when it comes to getting their first season sweep of the year. Let's head into the box score. The Rockies would finish with 1 run on 8 hits, and they did commit an error. The Phillies 3 runs on 11 hits. They committed an error. We are going to get into the fact that once again the Phillies were befuddled by starting pitching, but we'll break that down here in a minute. Kyle Schwarber leading off the game today for the Phillies. For those of you tracking home and keeping score at home, again, like I am, that now makes the leadoff tracker 4-2 in favor of Schwarber over Turner. So I will be keeping track of that throughout the season. He was 1 for 2 with the big home run there. It was a solo shot, but as Steve Fuentes alluded to, it could have been much more. But it was a big hit. I mean, it was a huge hit for the Phillies. So he had the lone home run for anybody today. Bryce Harper had a quiet 2 for 4 day with an RBI. It was quiet. He's starting to Bryce Harper's been an enigma for me this season. He hasn't been awful, but he hasn't been good. But he's starting to kind of, a very quiet 2 for 4 for me. And then the big guy, 3 for 3, JT Realmuto with the run scored, the RBI, or the run scored and the walk. So there you go. They're your offensive standouts. And then you can probably throw Bryson Stott into that as well, 2 for 3 today with a walk as well. For the Colorado Rockies offensively, they didn't really get anything going there until the 9th inning. And so I'm not going to give them offensive honors today or any of their players offensive honors except maybe Jose Alvarado. Can you give offensive honors to a Phillies relief pitcher to the Rockies? Maybe, because the Colorado Rockies got nothing literally going until the 9th inning. Pitching-wise, Taijuan Walker, what can you say? Gets the win. 6 very solid innings. 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and only 74 pitches through 6 innings. That's also a positive sign. He didn't labor. He was working counts good. He was getting out of innings quickly. Orion Kirkland comes on in the 6th inning. He gets credit with the hold. Romano and then Alvarado, a wonky, drama-filled 40, or sorry, I don't want to discredit him. Not 40 pitches, 35 pitch 9th inning. He gets the credit with the save, but he gave up the run on 3 hits. Did strike out the side in a long way through, but hey, they hang on and they win 3-1. He gets the save for the Rockies. Sensatalia, I think I said it kind of right. 5 in the 3rd, 10 hits, 1 run, no runs, no earned runs. No walks, 3 strikeouts, 92 pitches in 5 1/3 innings. And once again, the Phillies befuddled by or anybody starting pitching. And that, of course, is a trend that has now bled through this series. I mean, they got to Freeland yesterday for a few runs, 3 runs to be precise. But that's been pretty much it. And then they had those 2 runs earlier in the year against the whoever pitched on Saturday or Friday for the Saturday for the Nationals. But other than that, it's been struggle city for the Phillies when it comes to starting pitching. Peralta, Kinney, and Vodnik would come in as well for the Rockies in a losing effort. And kind of details of this game, the Phillies were they left 10 runners on base, 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They did manage to swipe 3 bases in this game. The biggest running output of the day. JT Realmuto with 2 stolen bases to go along with his beautiful day. And then Trey Turner added a base as well. For the Rockies, they left 9 on base. They were 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They did not get anybody. No one stole anything. JT caught Tovar stealing, and what's his face picked Freeman off of first base earlier in the game. So Taijuan Walker did. So there you go, man. 3-1 Phillies scoring summary brought to you by me. Bryce Harper would get things rolling for the Phillies finally in the 5th inning with an RBI double scoring Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber then would homer in the 7th to give the Phillies a little bit more cushion to make it 2-0. JT would score on the wild pitch in the bottom of the 8th to make it 3-0. And then in a wonky, crazy 9th inning, Bouchard would knock in Goodman to make it 3-1. Can we trade for Hunter Goodman? Is it possible the Phillies can make a trade and bring Hunter Goodman here? I like him, man. I like Hunter Goodman, the catcher for the Rockies. We used to have a catching prospect in this town that kind of reminded me a little bit of Hunter Goodman. I'm trying to think of the kid's name. He was traded a few years back. I don't remember his name, but he was a catching prospect. I believe he was of Irish descent, if I'm not mistaken. It'll come to me later in the show, but I really like Hunter Goodman, and I would love to see him wearing a Phillies uniform. So make that happen for me. Keep an eye on that kid, Dave Dombrowski. A trade deadline move. Hunter Goodman would look good in a Phillies uniform. Again, we used to have a catching prospect in this town. I don't remember his name. I think he was of Irish descent. So, so I would really like to have him there. Oh, man. That was Steve. Since Steve Fuentes says, did I miss Sosa? Yes, I did miss Sosa. But you know what? Bryce Stott comes in and gets 2 hits. So I guess you really can't be that upset. But going into this game, Steve, with Taijuan Walker getting the start and then Sosa sitting and all the questions about why you would sit a guy that's batting like 650, why would you do that? And then throw Taijuan Walker out there to boot. I mean, he just had loss written all over this bad boy, But to the Phillies' credit, they did not. But again, me seeing JT Realmuto in the starting lineup today, I was like, oh, I'm confused now. Is this a program loss or are we going to try to win this game? But the Phillies obviously did try to win this game and did an outstanding job. You got to give credit where it's due. Walker or Big Al says Walker and Mirage will turn around again. Al, we're talking about the Colorado Rockies, right? We're talking about the Colorado Rockies, and we're talking about Taijuan Walker. So it's hard for me to say. I mean, there was a time, I think 2 years ago when he first got here, wasn't Taijuan Walker the first pitcher in the National League to get to 12 wins back in 2023? Remember that? Long time ago. Seems like a million years ago. He was the first pitcher in the National League to get to 12 wins. So Taijuan Walker knows how to pitch. Just forgot how to do it last year. I don't know. I mean, we're going to start getting better talent. I believe his next trip through the rotation is the Braves, right? If they pitch him on his fifth day, it'll be the Braves series. So we'll see. It's going to be a game by game, start by start, rating thing with this guy, and see if he can continue it. But definitely a good, a good start for Taijuan Walker. Maddie should be banned from Logan O'Hoppe. That was the kid's name. Thank you, Al, for reminding me of that young man's name. I had totally forgotten about him. But yeah, Hunter Goodman would be a nice replacement for Logan O'Hoppe getting plucked away from me. We suck. We almost lost to the Rockies. Almost ain't good enough, Eagles fan. But the Phillies do hang on for the big time 3-1 win. And let's head over to the Broad Street bottom line, man. We're moving right through this thing. Broad Street bottom line. Let's cue the music. Yeah, so the Broad Street bottom line is probably, I really should keep track of these because I'm it's going to be amazing because I know there's going to be certain things that I'm going to say over and over and over again all season long as it pertains to my bottom line of a game or my bottom line of a season or my bottom line of an effort, whatever. It's got to be for me, once again, the damn bullpen with no rolls. It's not working. It doesn't work. Kirkering should not be touching a baseball in the sixth inning, and you should not have Joe Ross warming up to come in for an ineffective Jose Alvarado. It just does not work. So why is it so friggin' hard to say, you're my closer, you're my setup guy, you're the seventh inning guy, and the rest of you guys are the long relievers, you guys are the middle relievers, let's go to work. Why is it so friggin' hard to do that for this manager specifically? Because it almost cost us, it almost reared its ugly head. Now it's going to cost us at some point this season. I'm 100% certain of that. But why must we go into every year in the same situation? Again, I want a preference, not because Alvarado struggled in the ninth, and he did, but because the best thing available apparently was Joe Ross. That's who you were warming up, a guy who does spot starts and long relief. I mean, he's got a couple saves in his repertoire, but that's not his bag. He's a spot starter, and he's a goddamn long reliever. And you have him warming up to potentially come in and salvage the ninth inning. Or was the plan to let the lead slip completely away before you brought in Joe Ross? Either way, it's a stupid plan. Give me a traditional bullpen. That, to me, is the bottom line. And I say it, and I'll say it. I said it last year. I'm saying it again this year. Until we get a traditional bullpen, till we establish a bullpen with roles, we are not winning a World Series. I guarantee it. They're not winning a World Series until you can say he's the closer, he's the setup guy, he's the seventh inning guy, he's the middle relievers, and these are the long relievers. Until we do that, we're not winning a World Series. That, to me, is the Broad Street bottom line of this game. The damn bullpen without any roles is going to kill us at one point this year. So there you have it. My Broad Street bottom line. And that was brought to you more specifically by the Fightins Final, because we're moving on. The Dodgers are coming in right behind the Rockies. We're going to have about 24 hours to feel good about this win before we're going to have to strap it up against the defending world champions with a 19-0 coming into this game. 8-0, one last night on a Shohei Ohtani walk-off. And we're going to have to go out against them. But it sets up well. We're going to be throwing out Luzardo, Nola, and Sanchez, and I believe it's Yamamoto, Sasaki, and I'm not sure who the other one is, but it's going to be a good series. It's going to be a good early test for the Philadelphia Phillies, a good early test, a good opportunity to go to the ballpark and watch some really fun baseball in early April. And Big Al will be on the call as he assumes his everyday Friday duties here on the Fightins Final. And also look for their debut. That's right, folks. They're back. the Connect unis, the City Connect, are the SS uniforms. I mean, I don't even know how to explain them. I thought they would be dead, but MLB has a rule. You have to wear your chosen City Connect uniform for at least 2 seasons. So we have another year of those monstrosities. The hat's cool, but everything else about it sucks. And tomorrow it returns for Friday Night Baseball at Citizen Bank Park. Al Zafiri with the call, coming at you after the game on Saturday. It's Sal G, and then I will wrap you up on Sunday, hopefully talking about a Phillies series win or a series sweep. That would be very nice. So there you go. That's the Fightin's final lineup for the weekend. Series versus an undefeated team. Then a series versus a winless team currently. Series versus an undefeated team, then a series versus a winless team. Oh, that's right. Atlanta hasn't won a game yet. Interesting. Yeah, interesting duality there, Steve. I didn't even think of that. God, I want all Fridays. No, you're on that. And that was the deal we made. And I don't know if you were cognizant or aware of the fact that every Friday home game, you'd be stuck dealing with those unis, but you're in, man. You're in. You are we do have defined roles in this bullpen, all right? And you are the Friday night guy. So guess what, Al? Call Rob Thompson if you want to switch up the thing, but it's not happening. We have defined roles on this network, and I, as the manager, you are the Friday night guy. But no, make sure that you're tuned in for the weekend series against the Dodgers. Also tonight on the network, Steve Fuentes has been chiming in. Make sure you're back here at 9:00 for this for the It's a Wrap Sports debut of the Attacking Third. Time to get your MLS Philadelphia Union Soccer Joneses filled here on this network every Thursday night, 9:00. Starting tonight, Steve and Pat Bernard will be with you to bring you the best in MLS Union coverage right here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network at 9 p.m. The debut of the Attacking Third, not like the debut of the Attacking Third, but the debut of the Attacking Third here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And then following that show, I'll be with you at 10 p.m. to wrap up your sports day. And I'm sure we'll continue the conversation about the Phillies and all the other stuff that's happened today. So make sure you're back for the final word at 10 p.m. Every Sunday through Thursday here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. It's so confusing to watch. It sucks, man. Those uniforms are terrible. We're cooked against the Dodgers. They were down 5-0. They came back against the Braves. Yeah, Dodgers they're a hot team, man. First team in MLB history to get off to a 8-0 start as defending champions. So definitely, I mean, there's no secret about it, right? There should be no secret about the Dodgers heading into the season. Everybody knew they were going to be good. They're really hot, though, right now, but the Phillies can beat them. Listen, the Phillies, starting pitching-wise, can go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. It's going to come down to the bullpens, whereas the Phillies have struggled against hitting off starting pitching. Can the Phillies get through the Dodger bullpen? And we're going to see Yamamoto. I believe in, and maybe I should have done my research, and maybe Al can do the research, seeing how he's got the game. But I think this is the first time we're going to see Yamamoto. I don't remember last year in the 6 games we played against the Dodgers facing him. I'm sure we should have. No, wasn't he hurt in the beginning of the year? I'm not sure if we faced him, but I know we haven't faced Sasaki because he's a rookie. So it's going to be a good, and we're throwing our best at them too, right? With the exception of Wheeler. We're putting out Nola. The meat of our rotation is going to be opposed against the meat of their rotation. It's going to be a very, very good series. Can the Phillies get through the starting pitching of the Dodgers? And more importantly, if they can't, can they get through to the bullpen? So it's going to be a good series. And it's a shame that it's April 6th, right? I mean, you would have probably liked to have seen this a little bit later in the season at home. This to me has like a late August vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of time of the year series. That's when they should have moved this series to late August. That would have been probably a more of a playoff thing. It's hard to get a playoff vibe in early April, but it's going to be a good series. Al probably won't. We did not see him. So we have not seen Yamamoto. I didn't think we did because I know he was dealing with some injuries early in the season. So our first time seeing Yamamoto should be interesting. The Braves are broken. They are a broken team right now. You know, losing Profar and not getting Strider back yet. I mean, But let's be honest, the Braves are not done. The season's not over. The Braves will still be in this thing, but it puts them in a bad spot to start the season off as bad as they are, because now they're going to be playing catch up through most of the first part or most of April into May. But that's not our problem. It's because they stink and we hate them, and then all the losing they do is fine by me. With that being said, let's head around the bases. All right, let's go around the bases. Just underway out in Minnesota is 0-0 Astros and Twins. Tonight, 7:05, Diamondbacks visit the Bronx against the Yankees. And at 7:40, it's the Reds and the Brewers. Games that have gone final, or game that has gone final, is the Red Sox over the Orioles 8-4. And, of course, the Fighting Phillies beat the Rockies 3-1. And that is it. That is your Thursday. That is your Thursday action in Major League Baseball. Kind of a light day around the league. But we won today. Now we are now 5-1 on the season. Let's go over the Fighting's final Matty B stat pack real quick. We're not going to go over the whole thing, but just a couple. I want to emphasize a few numbers for me. First and foremost, Matty B is now 3-0 as the host of the Fighting's final this season. That's right, way out in front as I've gone now to 3-0 undefeated as your host. As I said, leadoff tracker is now 4-2 in favor of Kyle Schwarber over Trey Turner. Turner has been the only other person to lead off for the Phillies. In the statistical categories, the Phillies did hit a home run today. They have now moved into they've now hit 9 on the season. Phillies pitching for the first time all season. First game all season did not surrender a home run. They had surrendered home runs in every single game leading up to this one. So there's a positive thing. They surrendered 8 homers throughout the season, did not surrender one today. First game all year, Phillies pitching did not surrender a home run. Phillies starting pitching, or I should say Phillies pitching in general, 10 strikeouts today, combined of 10 strikeouts. They have had double-digit strikeouts every single game this year. That's how good our pitching's been, and it has been. I mean, you can't take it away from what the Phillies pitching, not starting, but pitching in general, to include the bullpen, has had double-digit in strikeouts every game this season. And since that abysmal 19 strikeout performance on opening day against the Nationals, the Phillies have not struck out multiple-digit times since the start of the season. So that number's on its way down. And of course, our risk updated today. 11. What was it for today? The risk on the season today was 2 for 11. They are now 16 for 61 with runners in scoring position for a not a good 262 batting average. Ain't liking that at all. And the Phillies have now scored 33 runs in the early part of the season, averaging about 5.5 runs a game, and they've surrendered 17, so 2.8. So less than 2 or less than 3 and more than 5. And that's where you want to live. You want to live in that 5 run a game number. That's where you want to be as a Major League Baseball team. You want to be scoring at least 5 runs a game, and you want to be surrendering 3 or less. And if you're doing that, you're putting yourself in a good position to win just about every single day. So there's a Fighting's Final Matty B stat pack for some key stats early on in the regular season. And that is going to probably take me to the very end of this program. I want to thank everybody chiming in on this 4 o'clock in the afternoon, early edition of the Fighting's Final. Business person special, powder blue, robin egg blue uniforms, however you refer to them. Us older people call them robin egg blue because that's what they were taught to us as. But Taijuan Walker, the story of the day, 6 scoreless, looked really good, really confident. Ball was his pitches were up though at sometimes, but they had good velocity and he was throwing hard. Phillies bullpen comes in and once again is almost mismanages our way to a loss. Jose Alvarado struggles through the 9th and then finally pulls it together and gets the strikeout to side as the Phillies win the game 3-1. Phillies will now set their sights on the LA Dodgers as they will be in for 3 games starting on Friday night in an interesting key early season series matchup between the defending world champions and the wannabe world champions. So make sure you're here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Big Al has you Friday. Sal G will come at you on Saturday, and I'll have you on Sunday, where we will also do our first full, minus the FCL Phillies, but full down the Phillies Farm Report of 2025. I know Al did one last week for the for the Iron Pigs because they were the only team that was in action. But we're going to be able to talk about 4 of the 5 minor league teams on Sunday. So make sure you're staying tuned for all that great stuff. And then tonight at 9 p.m., make sure you're back here for the debut of the Attacking Third on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Pat and Steve will be coming at you and giving you the best in Major League Soccer coverage this side of the Mississippi River. All right. So I want to thank everybody. You guys have a great rest of your day. We got 2 more shows coming at you here on the network for the rest of your broadcasting day. I will see you again around 10 o'clock tonight. And before I go, I got to hear from him before I leave. Harry the K. What you got, man?